this is February recommendations, and this is the guest section. And I'll try to do this. It's really, really early in the morning, and I'm trying not to wake up my grandma. So I'm gonna try to do this, but not too loud, and hopefully you can hear me, and my raspy voice doesn't bother you, but here we go. So, Instant Family. So this movie made me cry, but at the same time proved to me once more that I don't want kids. I like the message of this movie, though. I can't deal with kids. Okay, The Solid Gold Cadillac. So during this month, I usually try to ignore how single I am, like always, with romance movies. So, about this set of old silver screen romance movies, and I'm not going to talk about every one of them, but a few of them that need to be mentioned. So, okay. So, the Cadillac means nothing to the story. It literally comes in the last 30 seconds of the film, to be honest. But I was generally surprised at how rounded both the male and female characters were in this movie for this time period. And it had a pretty cute little romance, too. So, yeah. An epic romance, always. So it's no surprise that I would like a cute movie about a glass orb that goes from world to world or travels through time. I'm not entirely sure which one it is, but I thought it was really cute, and I was actually like really rooting for them throughout the entirety of this movie. Okay, The Marrying Kind. Now, this is another one of those movies that I'm going to talk about, but I liked this movie a lot, but I had after flashbacks from seeing this horrible couple. The guy in here was so horrible, and he was like a big jerk, so I had after flashbacks, and I kept thinking about how Hardin and this guy should go hang out and go bowling. But, yeah, this guy was horrible. Good movie, very bad romance, honestly. Like, I felt sorry for her. So bad. My Holo Love. And I really love Korean dramas, which I think everybody might know by this point, but I really love Korean dramas. Like, I don't want anyone's drama unless they're Korean. This was another brilliant Korean drama that I actually was able to get several people addicted to. Like, always. Watch the original Korean sub. Trust me, the dubs are okay, but dubs are they don't look very good with live action, so I would just not. An AI is free to do whatever he wants, and he can be seen through a pair of glasses. The girl falls in love with the AI, and the creator of Holo modeled him after himself, so the real Holo is in love with the girl. If you will, the real version of Holo is the one that's in love with the girl. And she also has facial blindness, so she can't tell people's faces apart. So he's kind of like the only face she can see. So it's kind of cute. So she can't tell people apart, and it's very addicting once you start, and you're really going to be praying that they work their stuff out and get together. I really liked it. It was cute. Ending is perfect, like always. Alright, Scissor 7 or Killer 7. Now, this is important. So this is honestly the best thing on this list. It really deserves its own review, but I'm putting it on here because between all the things I'm doing, I don't have time to do separate reviews for things, so I'm putting them all in here. Don't watch the dub for this, watch the original Mandarin one, it's the best. The world felt very much like Samurai Jack would in a way, which made me feel a little nostalgic, to be honest, and the look of the character kind of resembled slightly Samurai Jack, so I think that's why I was so, like, intrigued with this. I'm not sure. The show is funny and creative. The art style is one of the best parts of the show. Second is the character of Seven. He's dopey and horrible at his chosen career of hired hitman. He is terrible at his job, and I don't think he actually kills anyone that he's actually hired to kill because he feels too bad, only because he cares too much for his victims. He appears to have some type of telekinetic power because he controls his scissors with his hands and later on his assassin's sword. But after losing his memory, he forgot about how he was actually one of the top killers in the world. Gets his head or gets in a bad predicament, his other self comes back and usually gets the job done. Seven's a sweet, dorky guy who wonders about his past. It's highly addictive. I just hope Netflix puts season 2 up soon. A few episodes are already seen floating around YouTube, but for the most part, we're forced to wait. I've waited 14 years for Samurai Jack, so I can wait if I have to. This is the last thing on this list, and wow. Okay, so King's Game. So I'm currently watching an anime this season called Darwin's Game, which kind of has a similar premise, but honestly, after watching King's Game, I'm convinced Darwin's Game is the preschool version, while King's Game is, like, seriously elite. My mouth dropped every other episode. Some scenes were so violent I couldn't watch them. So the main character has survived one of the King's Games already. He moves to a new school to get away from it. Then his new class starts getting demands from the king, which is coming through the phone. It appears at first to be a supernatural force as far as you know, but then as you find out it's a virus in the internet that has been transferred. That's the only time I kind of laughed at this show. Like, that kind of broke the seriousness, but for the most part I was hoping they would survive, and I generally cried at the end, and I was hoping for them all to survive, and I really wanted more people to survive. But as every episode went on, as you started to like a character, they were killed. That's basically the premise, which it wasn't a happy ending in the slightest. But our main character is honestly really engaging. He's really a good person who would rather die than watch someone else die, and he's honestly very selfless, and you want him to live on and save everyone. Great delivery on story and an amazing opening scene with that OP. I'm just saying. It's time for the meh section. So Phantom Boy. I don't think I'm the demographic for this movie by any means, but I can still appreciate beautiful animation with a creative story. A boy can leave his body and explore. He dreams of being a cop, and he helps out a cop down the room from him, and he helps him solve a big case in the city, and I respect it for what it is. But there it is. Ready or not. So I was pulled in by the trailer, like probably everybody was. It was everything it promised. Yeah, it was, but a little too gory for me, and I have a weak stomach when it comes to gore, so you can't really go by what I say. This is the complete expression of some dudes ain't crap. It was one of those one-time watches to me, because I liked it, but I was just wanting to see if she survived. That's really the only thing this movie has going for it. And you feel sorry for the husband at first until you realize he ain't crap. And then the only thing I really enjoyed with this movie is that little boy comes and she thinks it's there to help her. He shoots her and she punches him in the face. I thought that was very funny. I'm not like rooting for child abuse or anything, but I was like, that was kind of hilarious. Okay, the anonymous noise. A love triangle connects their feelings with music, and that's basically the plot of the show. I did think Yuzu, and Alice were extremely adorable together, and Momo sucks, so I don't like Momo at all. There was nothing good about him at all. Gerald Game. So this couple wants to spice things up. She finds out her husband has a rape fantasy. Then he dies while she's handcuffed to the bed and has to survive. It's tense and very sad, but kind of hard to watch. Would you rather? This was an interesting story, but I really struggled to watch this because the movie was super hard to watch for me because it was so mean-spirited, and the blood, and I just didn't like it. Joey recommended it to me because he said it was weird, and I was like, okay. So I was watching it, and you can watch it on Netflix right now, but it was a little too mean-spirited, but it had an interesting concept, though. Attack of the Puppet People. So this movie started out super creepy and serious. There was a scientist or whatever, and he was shrinking people and turning them into puppets, or dolls, if you will. And then halfway through, it just turns silly, and it's not as scary as it was. So it started out promising, in my opinion, but okay. My friend Dahmer. I watch a lot of stuff like this. I basically live on the ID network, and I love serial killer documentaries. I love that. I find that so interesting. But this one, it was on my ID Prime list for a very long time, and I was like, well, I'm finally gonna watch it, so I did. And Ross Lynch played Jeffrey. He was so terrifying and good at his performance that I literally had chills and was legitimately uneasy. And that doesn't happen to me ever. I don't even know how many times it's happened to me. It barely happens. So he was so good that it gave me the chills and I was a little freaked out. I was intrigued the whole time, but the scenes where I saw Ross doing some things to himself made me so uncomfortable because I was like reaching out for the pure days of Austin and Ally, and I felt disgusted. But he did a very good performance, so yeah, he deserved that. Alright, I've always liked you. A bunch of high school kids have crushes on each other, and that's most of the plot. A lot of the characters were extremely cute, though. Okay, Gemini Man. So this movie had a lot of CGI Will Smith in it, and it works okay until the camera was too still and in the light, and then you can see how bad the CGI is. And young Henry, if you will, really looked like a rubber man. He was running around, flipping, doing whatever. The effects, the story was kind of interesting, but it was kind of not interesting. Like, I was kind of, it was, yeah. I basically watched it for Will Smith, and that's all that happened. Okay, to all the boys, P.S. I still love you. Now, I think everyone loves the first one. It is amazing. I love it. However, to me, this one didn't have the same magic as the first one. I mean, I liked it. It's just not as good as the first, in my opinion, but it was fine. Okay, no. Now we're in the no section. My favorite section. Airplane mode. Watch the Portuguese version if you do want to watch this. This movie's not bad at all. It's just another Netflix rom-com, and there's just nothing really, like, concrete about it, but it's not bad, so... Okay, Destination Wedding. Now, this is a movie that is very bad. So this movie is only dialogue between our two leads, and it's kind of funny at times, but it's not worth the boredom. I love Caan and everything, but, like, the movie is greatly acted, but it's just a bore because you hear nothing but the dialogue between our two main characters the entire movie. No one else talks in the entire thing. Attack of the Mushroom People. Now, these people get trapped on an island and they eat magic mushrooms and it turns them into mushroom people. And honestly, it's not as weird as I hoped it would be. Like, it was what you would expect from a movie called Attack of the Mushroom People, but it wasn't as good to me. And the mushroom people didn't really attack them as much as they did kind of lead them away and let them eat the mushrooms. So I hoped it would have been a lot weirder than it was. But, yeah. So, Fighting with My Family. This movie wasn't made for me at all because I really don't like wrestling. I kind of hate it.